We begin in Hawaii, where authorities say the death toll from devastating wildfires has now risen to 80. That makes it one of the deadliest disasters in the U.S. state's history. The coastal town of Lahaina on the island of Maui has been razed to the ground. As firefighters continue to battle the flames, some residents are returning to take stock of the damage.
As the smoke lifts, what's left of Lahaina is devastatingly clear, with hundreds of people still missing amid the scorched terrain of Maui Island. Residents were stuck in traffic as they headed home to assess the damage, warned that what awaits them would be destruction like they'd never seen before. For many, little remains among the ashen landscapes of this historical coastal town they called home.
This is my house. This is the ash, the remains of my house, but yeah, the fire knocked out the whole neighborhood. I don't know.
Despite the devastation, this tight-knit community has come together. Here at the War Memorial Gymnasium, donations to help those in need are pouring in.
If you look at the turnout today, it's amazing. The whole island's coming together. I got people on the mainland donating and sending money and stuff and doing whatever they can. So if we keep this up, it should be the best we can make it. Could be worse.
President Joe Biden has declared the region a disaster area, allowing for emergency federal funds to help those in need. But rebuilding this community is expected to cost billions of dollars. Questions are beginning to be asked about the lack of warning and disaster response, as the people of Maui begin to mourn the loss of both lives and land.
And for more, we're joined now by Christina Karamparidu. She's an associate professor in the Department of Atmospheric Sciences at the University of Hawaii. Welcome to DW. So explain to us what makes these fires different from the ones Hawaii is used to seeing.
Right, so we are used to wildfires during our dry season from May through October. What was particularly extraordinary about this event was the strength of the winds. There was a high pressure system to the north of the islands and then low pressure to the south of the islands as Hurricane Dora was passing by, well south to the islands. And that created our normal trade winds to accelerate. And then, of course, the topography of the islands further accelerates the winds. And we ended up having winds up to 80 miles per hour, for example. And that led to this rapid spread of this fire. And of course, we also had a couple of months of drier than normal conditions that gave fuel to this fire.
So you described these winds as extraordinary, but given the fact that authorities were aware of these offshore winds, should officials have foreseen this kind of fire?
We were under a warning and that fire conditions were possible because, of course, as you said, the winds were well forecasted. I think it was the time of the night and the extraordinary strength that, fire weather is very complicated. You may expect it, but when it actually happens, I think it's very complicated to fight a fire like this. And we've seen it in many places. I'm originally from Greece, and as you very well know, we've had this type of fires on our islands as well.
That's right. So we've been seeing these catastrophic wildfires, as you say, all over the world. So what links them? Is it safe to say that this is evidence of climate change, for example?
I think that every time there's an extreme weather event like the one we described, it's reasonable to ask whether some aspect of it was exacerbated by climate change. And as I mentioned, there were many ingredients that led to this perfect storm to an extent. But of course, we would need a proper attribution study to really say that climate change made this more likely. But as far as the ingredients go, we do have studies that show, for example, that there's a drying trend on the leeward side of the islands that is expected to continue in response to increased greenhouse gas emissions. And the other thing, we also have studies regarding tropical cyclones, and these studies have shown that it's possible that we'll have an increase of the most intense storms in the Pacific. So the ingredients are there, and of course, how exactly they will translate to the likelihood of this type of events happening again in the future remains to be studied. But we do know that the ingredients due to climate change could be getting worse.
That was Christina Karamparidu from the University of Hawaii. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you very much.